Water is used by different organisms, humans, animals, plants, and even microorganisms we can see. We use water in all sorts of ways: drinking, bathing, cleaning, and making our own favorite beverages. It can be found from lakes, river, reservoir, and also from ocean and seas, though I do not recommend drinking from it. One of the classic technologies commonly used by Filipinos is the infamous faucet. You will need a container like a bucket or timba to fill water and pump it repeatedly. This sometimes can be hard if not oiled or maintained well. You go back and forth until you fill a big drum, then use it as desired. Basically, science explains that the water from below, the reservoir, comes up from the ground, and if the pressure is enough, then the water comes through the suction and to the spout of the faucet, and in return a plentiful amount of water. Just make sure to add a little bit of water, like a tabo of water, before you begin to pump. Hand water pumper encompasses different designs. We have this red one with an open mouth, this old Pozo de Bomba, which are mostly common in rural areas. Is it long? I think it adds more force in pumping. This long, weird silver metal design, and also the mechanical one which is powered by electricity and fills a whole tank of water. The classic one, the green and sturdy Pozo. This is the one I grew up with. I remember taking a bath with my childhood friends since we didn't have the luxury of a shower head. Then we sit down and just below where the water comes out, and then the other friend pumps it for me, and vice versa, and pretend we're like rich people from rich households. We now have water service companies like Laguna Water, Manila, Manila Water, and etc. They provide water to each respective business and deals pretty much with anything that involves with water. You want their service, to pay them money. Before they send water to houses, they process water through multiple stages. First, coagulation, which gathers any soil, dirt, and other minerals with a chemical polymer. Flocculation, which removes the materials that floats, while sedimentation, which processes those which sinks. Then the water goes through a series of filtration to remove smaller impurities, and disinfection and chlorination to kill any germs. This new technology definitely changed the Filipinos' water game, descending from the great seafarers to the fossil technology and the interjection of water companies. Like electricity and internet, there are a lot of interruptions as well. Not everyone can take their daily baths, which upsets some customers. When innovations came, the rise of distillation of water. We should not drink anymore from the faucet since we cannot guarantee its safety. It is found that it can cause stomach aches due to the impurities like bacteria and other unhealthy stuff. No wonder older generation lasts more than the new ones. A lot of drinking water stations emerged and found an economic potential from it. The blue water jug carrying a clean drinking water, which costs at least 25 pesos. This could vary from station to station, of course. We also have the bigger blue one, which is mostly used for a water dispenser, which are more expensive. Mostly higher class families can afford water dispensers. This is powered by electricity and offers two notable features: the hot ones and the cold ones. I usually see this from hospitals, and my aunt also has this. I always get scolded when I'm caught playing with it. This water dispenser alone shows your place in society. Usually, the lower class families can only afford the blue water jug. We'll have to heat up in a stove or cool our water in refrigerator. Poor people would be more likely to settle with what's needed and what's enough than the rich people who will always find a way to be excessive. Then there is this middle ground for the two, the Water Pumper 3000. No, that's not its actual name, but this thing is a rechargeable dispenser. It has a tube that goes in the round water container and perfectly sits from the top. It can be wonky sometimes, but it serves its purpose. You just press the button to turn and pump water, then press again to stop. Real smooth and easy. This thing only costs less than 200 pesos. If you want to buy this, you can get it from the store named 167 Shopping Center at Victory Mall, Santa Rosa. Or you can find it in Lazada or Shopee and search water pumper dispenser. I am all for technological and scientific advancement, but I have a practical dilemma to this invention. Though it is new and high-tech and fun, I do not see the difference if we just use the regular blue water jug and let gravity do its job. Gravity is free, by the way. It doesn't cost anything. This is one of the capitalistic gimmicks which targets our insecurity as to what we should have, what we should know, and what we should be. Like, oh, we're this kind of people now, and boast to other people, which I think they barely care. Why would we want to burden ourselves about something that can be dealt practically instead? As mentioned earlier, higher class families tend to have a more high tech and cleaner water. Not just a fancy water dispenser, but they could also have their own water filtration system. Unlike lower class families use the cheaper blue water jug dispenser, but poorer families make do and are contented with just tap or pozo water. Science being used for economic, social, political, and epistemological advancement has its polarizing effect. First, as an aid for physical, mental, emotional, and intellectual gratification, and the other as exploitation of larger institutions targeting minorities or even large-scale groups. This type of abuse destroys the integrity and purpose of the product as an artwork, as a byproduct of science and technology, and its significant effects on our modern cultural setting. Science and technology seems to listen more from the wealthy and powerful people and will keep ignoring a disabled poor's loud remarks until the richest fancy feet are scratched. Like clean water, science and technology should be accessible to everyone as a necessity for survival, especially to the spontaneous, ever-changing world and society, keeping in mind how it affects our particular culture, as well as innovating science and technology from arts as a creative driving force.